Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor and I am your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. Okay, so this morning I called my dad. He sounded pretty winded. So I was like, "What are you doing right now?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm hiking the Y." If you don't know what hiking the Y is, there's a local mountain that has a Y on it for the local college, and it is the worst hike I've ever done. I do this hike at least once a year. We do it on Thanksgiving morning because we like to suffer. It is the worst hike. It is so steep. It's switchbacks. It just has no redeeming qualities. Like the view is fine at the top, but there's a lot of other mountains that you can walk up in a much more pleasant way to get the same view. I hate the hike. We do the hike. I make my kids do the hike. I don't know. Everybody here does the hike, but I would like to go on record as someone who loves hikes and constantly defends hiking and will bamboozle you on pretty difficult hikes. The Y is not worth hike. It's terrible. It's a terrible hike. Okay. I will never understand it, but I also participate in it. Okay. Anyway, he was like, "I'm hiking the Y." And I was like, "Why? Why are you hiking the Y?" He was like, "Oh, I hike the Y once a week." I was like, "Why?" So this man is 72, I think. Is that how old he is? He's 72. He still is in much better shape than me. He's very active because he does things like electively hike the Y once a week. So I was not totally surprised, but I was a little surprised. It's like, you're hiking the Y right now and you hike the Y once a week. And he was like, when we go walking by where we live, it's just not hard enough. So once a week I have to do the Y so that I get some elevation and I get pushed. And this was, again, not surprising to me because I know who my father is and this is the man that raised me. But it just made me think about a lot of people look at my dad's fitness level and think, "Oh, wow, I wish I had that." He does manual labor on the farm and he does things like electively drive to a mountain so that his walks are harder. He works really hard to have what he has physically. It's very inspirational to me. Also, I've made jokes about how I'm addicted to suffering. Now we know why. I was raised by a man who's electively hiking the Y to make his life harder so that he can have what he wants. But that's it. That's it to me. He's electively engaging in something strenuous in order to get the result that he wants because what he has naturally is not hard enough. And I know it's a crazy thing to say, none of our lives are hard enough because I feel like my life is plenty hard enough. But we talked earlier, a few episodes ago, about how we have different expectations now. So maybe the world isn't getting worse. Maybe we just have higher expectations of what it should be. And that's a good thing. And also, there is this new entitlement to comfort, ease, and flow that people have that is a little baffling to me. And I've seen it in my professional life a lot where people they feel entitled to ease. They feel entitled to comfort. They feel entitled to success in a way, in a very specific way of how they want it, when they want it, the way that they want it. And we're sold that narrative a lot. And I think that it's a correction, which we needed, of you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn your worth. You know that I believe those things to my core. But with that has come this understanding that nothing will ever be difficult. And if it's difficult, it's wrong. And nothing should ever feel uncomfortable. And if it's uncomfortable, it's wrong. And I don't think that this entitlement and this belief that we have is serving us. And so it just reminded me of the importance of engaging in discomfort and engaging in strenuous activity, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and not shying away from it. And to not let discomfort, resistance, and hard times convince us that we're doing something wrong. There's a lot of narratives that are being sold to me right now that are just it should be easy. It should naturally flow. Everything should be fine. And you don't have to fight so hard and you don't have to try so hard. And I get where those narratives are coming from. And I think they are correcting something that really needed to be corrected of hustle and earning worth. But we're not actually entitled to ease and comfort and flow. It's beautiful if we can get them and that if we can prioritize that and if we can cultivate that in our lives for ourselves and others. I think that's a really beautiful thing. But those are luxuries and privileges. And it's really important that we work hard. It's really important that we try. It's really important that we learn to persevere. It's really important that we learn to be uncomfortable. These are things that are vital to our survival and our happiness, our actual happiness and our peace. And you will never find true peace and fulfillment never being uncomfortable and never doing hard things. And there are times when life will force you to do that. it will serve it up for you. But there's also times when we have to electively choose to walk into something that is scary, uncomfortable, hard, challenging, and we just have to learn to persevere. And I worry that when we feel entitled to comfort and peace and ease, we are never asking ourselves and inviting ourselves to grow and stretch and build that resilience and build that persistence that comes through taking on the challenge and doing the hard thing. I think back to after I went back to work after Simon died, and it was a really bad situation for me. And I was really puzzled because I felt divinely guided to stay at that job. It was very confusing for me because I thought, I've just endured this tragedy and this really hard thing in my life. Why is God asking me to now do this other really hard thing of engaging in this job that was really a bad place for me? And everyone in my life was like, quit your job, get a new job. Why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. My only defense was like, I really feel specifically guided to stay in this situation and to keep going. And it was very confusing for me at the time. And honestly, looking back, I think what I learned in that time was that even at your rock bottom, sometimes God asks you to do more. And guess what? You're up to the challenge. You can do it. I could do it. I did it. And to me, that's so much more invigorating than being saved from the situation. And look, I love to quit things, okay? I think you should be a quitter. There's a page in my coloring book that literally says, be a quitter. Sometimes it's time to quit. So don't take this the wrong way and don't keep yourself in a bad situation longer than you should. So let's be careful taking my advice in this situation because it's very like each case scenario. But again, I felt the divine guidance when it was time to go. And so looking back, the thing I'm most grateful for in that situation was one, trusting myself and trusting God. I learned a lot through that, but also learning that even at my worst, I can still learn to persevere even more and push through. And that's really fulfilling to me. And that might not be fulfilling to other people, but there are times when we will be saved. There are times when it's time to quit. There are times when we get a break. But there's also going to be times when we're just asked to keep persevering and keep pushing and keep trying. And it's going to be hard and it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be ugly. And that doesn't mean it's wrong. God won't leave us, though. He won't leave us. He might ask us to do the uncomfortable, hard thing, but he's not going to leave us there alone. We're not going to be left to do it on our own. And that's what I've learned in the last 2 years specifically is how to endure even more when you think you can't endure anymore. And that comes through divine intervention for me. Like there are things that I have done in the last 5 years that I don't know how I have done. And I think that I've done it because God is there, despite how hard and uncomfortable it feels. So maybe we should all go hike the Y, like my dad, once a week. I view my dad as one of the most stable, content, fulfilled, happiest people I know. And I think it's because of how he lives his life and how he chooses to live it. And I wish you all could meet him someday. He's really great. Anyway, I hope you do something hard today, and I hope you get to be safe and cozy and comfortable after it. That's how I try to live my life. I try to go do the really hard things I need to do, and then I invest in things like blankets and hoodies and ice cold Diet Coke to recover from doing the hard things. I love you so much. I hope you don't have to hike the Y today. I know you probably have to do hard things. I hope it's not hiking the Y because I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And I'll be there on Thanksgiving morning. Anyone who wants to join. Love you so much. Bye.